Hi everyone, let's go over my bullish and bearish Elliott Wave scenarios on Bitcoin, starting with the micro ranging scenario where we are looking for a WXY or a sideways ABC, where price eventually moves to the downside once more to take the double bottom that it left behind over here at 27,160. Now the double bottom is visible on my chart as well as many others, but Bybit however took this low, and the fact that Bybit took the low increases the probabilities that other platforms will follow, including my chart over here. And for that to happen, we of course need price to move towards the downside in potentially this WXY scenario, which is then a 3-3 and then another 3-wave structure to the downside, or an ABC in a 5-3-5. Now currently, because of this first structure to the downside, the probabilities are higher. This is an ABC 3-wave structure over here, meaning that a WXY at the moment has some higher probabilities. Also, price overnight for me moved towards the upside to the target we were looking for, the daily naked point of control. Observe the reaction over here for then potentially a move towards the downside. But as it is weekend, weekends usually are known for their ranges, so price can just range in this area over here, and then on Monday wick the highs, then move to the downside to wick the lows, and then we'll take it from there for then potentially a move towards the upside. Now, because wave W, higher probability, is a zigzag 3-wave structure, wave Y in a sideways double combo is not allowed to be a zigzag, so I'd then be looking for a triangle or a flat. So a triangle to form over here, or a flat, and then a wave A, B, and then eventually a wave C to the downside. If we zoom in to this wave X or wave B over here, then what I've been looking for is a WXY with W a zigzag, X over here a flat, and then Y another flat towards the upside. And the main reason I started thinking about this is because of this low over here. You can see a trend-based fib extension taken from this high to this low to this high over here to compare the length of this move to the downside with this move to the downside. And if this is a 3-wave structure in an ABC, you want to see price going to this area over here. This is the most common target area for a wave C, which hasn't been hit. The 0.618 has been hit, but that's a very rare area for a wave C. So the fact that this is quite a short move and not reaching the target area for C improves the probabilities that this is the low for a wave B, and then a potential A, B, and a wave C to the upside, where the most common target for wave C is between the two 1.618s over here, which, as you can see, has nicely been respected. Of course, we have a little bit of a wick above, but that is why this white box over here was also extended to the 2.618, including that daily naked point of control. If I go to the 15-minute time frame over here, you can see it was just a wick closing the candles very nicely inside this target area for then a potential here ABC expanding flat towards the upside, which now means that potentially wave B or X, right, in a bigger 3-wave structure is finished, and that now throughout the weekend we are ranging here for the beginning of then a wave Y towards the downside. Remember, a wave Y, triangle or a flat, is the highest probability, which means that for a flat, price can do this, wick above, and then move down, and then an A, B, C towards the downside. The more bullish scenario is that this was a wave Y, so this was an ABC, even though it didn't hit the most common target. It is then an ABC, and we're looking for a wave 1, 2, continuation to the upside in a wave 3. Most common target area for a wave 2 is the 0.5 to the 786, which is between 27.7k and 27.4k. The 382 over here has been tapped, sitting at 27.8k. However, the 382 is a more rare target for a wave 2, not necessarily a common target, so that's something we have to keep in mind. Also, again, if this of course is the end of a wave Y, C is short, but it did end on top of the 0.618 taken from the high to the low of W to the high of wave X, which is a target for the green wave Y. So at least that is positive, but you still have over here that double bottom. But in this particular scenario, the invalidation is if price would go below this low over here, because we are looking for a move to the upside, of course, and that means that throughout the weekend you're probably going to be in a wave 2 range, and then for next week, probably on Monday, you'll be pumping for new local highs, at least to take this high over here and look for a wave 3 for much higher prices. If we look at the volume profiles over here, it is quite interesting. Both of them, I'm going to show both. So this is the 4-hour volume profile of the range that we have been in over here since the 16th of August. And what you can see is we broke out quite impulsively, moving down, retest 1, retest 2 on the value area high. Now, the more often you test the value area high over here, the higher the probabilities price will eventually move towards the downside. So if price does move to the downside and hit the double bottom, we definitely got to be wary for price to potentially retest and then move towards the downside. Of course, the retest can fail and price can move back up to then take this high or whatever high is still in the making. But then eventually we see price potentially moving to the downside, where the first target is then the point of control. Second target here is then the value area low. If we zoom out and go to the 12-hour, it's basically the same story, just on a higher time frame over here. Nice volume profile. We have tap number 1, tap number 2. If price over here would find its entry into this volume profile and starts with maybe a retest here, starts moving to the downside, probabilities are quite high. We have continuation, move to this value area high for the third time, 1, 2, 3, increasing probabilities. This one will fill, increasing probabilities that will find downside here as well to at least 23k, if not 22k over here, 21.9k. So very, very interesting what is happening over here with these value areas. As well as this one over here. This is the most recent one, taken from the high to where we are at the moment. Over here, price now ranging above the value area high of this volume profile, but you can see over here it's been tapped after that daily naked point of control, moved to the downside, hitting the value area high. But the same here, if it can find an entry in the value area, retest and then move down, first target to look for, point of control. Second target, value area low. Now, if you look at the CVD divergences, it's quiet after this high over here. It has been made right on top of the daily naked point of control. Very nice indeed. That's what we were looking for. Price has been moving down, and on the right side of this new high, so this part of the chart, we see over here a little bit of bullish CVD divergences, but it's with a wick, and that's not really preferred, honestly. So over here we have a higher low in price, lower low on the CVD. The target is taking this little high over here. And on the CVD chart, it looks like this. So over here, you then have a higher low in price, but look at the yellow line, lower low on the CVD, which is very nice. And also on blue, you have lower low on the CVD. So that's a bullish CVD divergence where the target is that high. So then finally, the probabilities of the different scenarios, you may have seen it already because I had it turned on, but here the probabilities are higher for price to continue ranging. And not necessarily throughout the weekend, but I talk about this particular scenario. So instead of the bullish one being a 1, 2, 3 and continuation, from an Elliott Wave perspective, the probabilities are higher that we are in a sideways corrective structure, WXY or an ABC, but WXY at the moment has a bit of a higher probability where we could be ranging here for a while throughout the weekend, but eventually take the double bottom over here next week, during the week, and then find that potential return towards the upside again. I hope this video was helpful or valuable to you. Please check out the most recent educational video I've made about the best trading indicator you can use. And for now, thanks for watching and subscribing, and I'd like to see you at the next one.